Oh, what a long couple of weeks that was. We are back for another edition of Game Log Monday, taking a forced hiatus due to the All-Star break. Hope everybody had a nice couple of days off. I know our guy C-Mac had a nice couple of days off. He shipped every All-Star game slate. Big congrats. I don't know what his first name is, guys. It could be Chris. It could be Charleston. It could be Cameron. And who knows? It could be Cynthia or Christine. But C-Mac, congrats on the big win on the All-Star game slate. And DC, I missed you. I mean, we sparred a little bit in Discord, and then we all took a break, and we come back fresh and happy and missing each other. Big T, I've missed the yellow hat. And obviously the people who do the graphics saw my love of the color yellow. They saw me wearing the banana mask, and they said, let's add a little bit more there. We'll start with DC, though, because I think he went on a hike or a trip, or where'd you go? I mean, it was Boynton that was in Montana. What did you do over the All-Star break, and how was your time away?
It was great. I was in Breckenridge, Colorado. Big T, I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with. Ski town. Extended family came in. Got to see my nephews, my nieces, and a good 4 days off. Pretty much entirely from sports. But, man, I was texting with Boynton, and it's like, you're ready to get back to it. I mean, you guys both have kids. 4 days with kids, that's enough for me. I'm ready to get back, grinding away in mom's basement over here, ready for baseball, ready to bury the hatchet, JT, after we threw a few barbs in the Discord. Big T comes in here. He's coming in hot. So, back in the saddle for Game Log Monday, and always excited to talk ball with you guys. So it should be a good one today.
DC got very upset with me, and I will say some of it was understandable. I fucked up. I saw something, I didn't put two and two together, and then I tried to kind of play it off. And so whatever. We're friends. We're past it. It's good, yeah. But it was a vicious day. It was a vicious day. You were very hurtful. But Big T, it's good to see you. It's good to be back here on Game Log Monday. What's going on?
Yeah, like you said, congrats to our boy C. McDonald. And people always laugh at this, but I swear the All-Star games and people, I'm fine with people. We crush it. I'm just telling you, like these bench guys, and it hasn't been every year. I'll admit it. Last year, like it wasn't good. There were some runs early, the late guys. But overall, I will guarantee anyone that we've won more money at Run Pure off these All-Star games than anyone. The NBA one, people always still play like Luka and Jokic and these guys that suck. Baseball, it's just the later hitters, the bench hitters.
Big T, I've mentioned this before with you, but like one of your best strengths is kind of these, one-off type games. You're like you said it yourself. You're better at the NBA playoffs than you are the NBA regular season, and you get to the playoff baseball. Some of these one-game slates, NBA playoff games, where you have to use your head, right, and think about how this game is going to go, and you can't just sort by the projections in these games. And no, it's just cool to see. There's still room for little kind of niches like that, and awesome to see C-Mac win. And man, kind of shows the community that Run Pure Sports has too, right? Gave away, what was it, $821 tickets, something like that. I mean, awesome stuff from C-Mac.
Yeah, it's the truth too. Like people always win, they give back. I mean, it's just awesome. 8 of them. Like it wasn't like he won freaking 500,000. He won like 60 grand, gives back $1,000 of it just in entries immediately to people. It's just awesome. And yeah, I always like I know my strengths. We've all done this a long time. If it's a 14-game slate, probably not too solid in those over the years. I just haven't been. But the lower the slate, I do better. And that's why I like Mondays. We never get huge slates on Mondays. Tonight we get a 222 with 250 grand to first place, plus our $5, plus everything else, our shit talk on Mondays. I love Mondays. But what do we got? We got 8 games tonight, 8 or 9. That's a great number for baseball. I love it. So hopefully we start back with a bang. And even though we all argue, I like seeing your two ugly mugs here on Monday evenings.
It's good to see you too. We're off to a good start. It is a 10-game slate, Big T, but
damn, I can't win double digits. Can we get a rain out somewhere? I need it to be 9.
Does not look like we're going to get a rain out anywhere. Shout out again. C-Mac is one of my favorite guys in the Discord.
Look
So
at this.
certainly,
He's giving up even more, up to 15. He's giving out some in private too. I hope he wins. If one of us three does, I hope he takes it down tonight. He goes back to back for that mojo.
yeah, he gave it away to anybody who asked. I think he bought one of the members a house. He's just a nice
after
dude.
his win. He just gives it all back.
Just a nice dude. He bought the kid's mom a crack pipe. I mean, he did everything that you could think of. Lion Cubs give me a hard time because I've been playing that $1 while I get used to Saber. No, I'll be in the 222 Lion Cubs. I'll be in the $8, and who knows? I may have maxed all the 150. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. But we'll get into the games. As always, go ahead and drop any questions in here. Yeah, Wiley, thank you very much. Can't wait to talk about those Orioles who are not on the slate, much to DC.
Wiley in there stirring the pot. I don't have the chat up yet. Is he talking about the Orioles?
He was saying that you were the one who put the graphic together, Big T. I don't know who did it. All right, let's get into these games we've got. And DC and I were talking, Big T, before you came on. We think it's a pretty interesting pitching slate because you have a lot of big names here, but the pricing is tough. There are some limitations on some guys. And don't think it's as clear-cut a pitching slate, at least when I went through it for the playbook, as you may just looking at who's on the slate. And it begins right away in Toronto, DC, where Carlos Rodon, coming off a 109-pitch masterpiece performance against the Cubs, he's still going to be 10K, but now he's on the road, and he's playing the Toronto Blue Jays, who have been absolutely on fire. It seems like all season long. I think the last show we did before the All-Star break, it was Big T who said, hey, who's been on more winners this year from an offensive perspective than the Blue Jays? And the answer is not many teams. Blue Jays at it again, scoring a bunch of runs over the weekend. Carlos Rodon, 10K. Kevin Gausman gets the ball for Toronto, 8,500. I'm not in love with either of these pitchers, DC. What are your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out on both these pitchers. Not 150 maybe you get there for my 10 lineups. I'm out on both Gausman and Rodon. Look at this matchup for Carlos Rodon. I mean, it's pretty brutal, right? Sometimes if you just look at the individual matchups, are you going to be excited for the lefty Rodon throwing against George Springer and Vlad and Bichette, Kirk, even Clement at the top hits lefties well? It just seems like a really tough spot to pay 10K for Rodon, who, I think is kind of a borderline 10K pitcher anyway. So it's a tough slate for pitching. I know, JT, for sure, you and I agree that we don't have maybe the most confidence in pitching in general tonight, but I'm out on Rodon here at 10K. Gausman, I think, is a slightly better play, even though I would say he's more likely even to get completely blown up than Rodon is. But I do think the strikeouts could at least be there for Kevin Gausman. But, I like some of these Yankees bats. Judge has crushed Gausman 6 career home runs. They've got some speed. You can run on him. So that top 5 for the Yankees looks good to me. And honestly, the top 5 or 6 for the Blue Jays, even as a contrarian stack, right? I mean, absolutely these guys, Springer and Vlad and Bichette, of course they could hit Rodon and square one up against him. It wouldn't shock me whatsoever. So I kind of think both these stacks are sneaky, and I'm definitely more in on the offense to kick the slate off for this game, even though I'm sure some people will go to both of these pitchers.
Big T, we've got Rodon at 10K and then Gausman at 8,500. And you look at the Yankees lineup and you're like, all right, of course you got Judge. Stanton has now, by the way, leading the league in hard hits against right-handed pitching over the last 13 or so days. So he's interesting here, the way that he's hitting the ball, seeing the baseball right now. But you kind of look at this bottom of the lineup. Paul Goldschmidt is 60 years old. You've got Wells, who was better in the beginning of the half. But I'll tell you, I was at the Braves-Yankee game on Saturday, and Anthony Volpe hits 2 home runs. I mean, there's power up and down this Yankee lineup. What do you think you're going to be looking at for this game in Toronto?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff you guys said. Definitely not playing Rodon. I mean, like you said, we've talked about it on Mondays. This Toronto lineup, I obviously have no facts to make up with it, but it feels like they've been on more winners than anybody. I mean, they just crush. And now they get all these righties against a lefty, even though it's a good lefty. I'm not saying it's not a good lefty, but it's just a really tough matchup for him. So I don't know if I'm going to like full stack anything up against Rodon. Like I probably won't do that. But a little mini stack. I mean, Vladdy, you guys can make fun of me again. It's Mondays. Vladdy, a great BVP versus Rodon. I like Vladdy in that spot. But the rest of them, I don't know. I don't really like the rest of Toronto, even though I don't like Rodon. So him. And then the Yankees, like you guys said, I mean, it's just a great spot. And some of these guys have actually hit Gaussman good. Some of the righties like Stanton, great price, and Goldie. I think they're two of the sneakier plays for me on the slate. I know Goldie's dusty, and I don't love Goldie, but I'm not playing like Peraza. He's terrible. I actually don't like Grisham that much either tonight, even though just sitting in that one hole, I think he'll be really popular. But all of a sudden you get in the middle like Judge, Jazz at this price, no one's going to play him really, I don't think. What's he projected? Yeah, less than 10%. I think the Yankees are kind of sneaky. I like the Yankees in this spot a decent amount with some upside. So the thing I like about the Yankees, though, I can throw out Peraza. I'm not really going to play Volpe even off the double dong. Wells has been kind of bad. See, I want to live in this middle range, Judge down to Goldie, and take my chances. So I like the Yankees. I will play a tiny bit of Gaussman, though, just because Yankees have struck out a decent amount, and Gaussman can sprout here and there. Probably one. I'm putting 4 in the 222. I doubt I play any in that, but if I'm playing a bunch, I'll play some Gaussman.
What did Volpe do to you to not be included in Game Log Mondays? 2 dongs and he can't even be included in the 150?
Doesn't make sense.
He's one guy that, like, honestly, I think is horrible. Like, I don't. He's got one good game like in 2 months. Like everything else is single digits.
I mean, but it was still on the game log.
It was glorious. I agree. I'm going to leave him in there just because of that.
If you pull up the DraftKings game log, I mean, you're like, whoa, this guy's a monster.
How nice are the game logs too when you pull them up now and they just come right to the page. After all the bitching we did, they come right to the page now for us.
It worked. All right. Big T, will stick with you. Next game is in New York, in Queens at Citi Field. The Angels, after a nice weekend in Philadelphia, head up to New York. Tyler Anderson, 6K flat for Anderson against the New York Mets. Kodai Senga, 9,300, second start off of an IL stint. Senga, 67 pitches in 4 innings against the Royals. Big T, I can't imagine he goes more than 5 innings and maybe 75, 80 pitches here. So a little tough to play him at 9,300. I haven't decided whether or not he's going to make my pool. I'd like him over one of the other pitchers that's going to be very popular later, which we'll talk about if I had to choose between the two. What are your thoughts here, the Angels and the Mets? I know you don't like this park. One other tidbit, Tyler Anderson hasn't been good, hasn't been terrible. Lowest price point of the season, 6K flat against the New York Mets.
Yeah, there's a lot to look at in this game. With Anderson is just one of those guys that I don't think's good by any means, but I also don't love the full stack against him. He just gets so much soft contact and stuff that I don't love it. He's had pretty good success against like Soto too, which is weird. Soto's like got a decent amount of ABs against him that hasn't done anything. And Nemo looks pretty good against him too, which is a weird BVP for me where I don't think anyone's really going to play Nemo. These are some of the one-offs I like. Well, I always take notes of some guys like just a total one-off. Brandon Nemo hitting first against the lefty. I don't know. It's just a weird like one-off I like to throw into my pool a lot, but I'm not going to be crazy about this game. Vientos looks way too cheap, so he'll definitely be a guy I like. Some of these prices are good. I mean, Jeff McNeil sucks, but that's cheap. Alvarez sucks, cheap. I mean, some of these guys stink, but I'll leave them in the pool just because they're cheap. I'm not going to really play these guys all that much, though. Lindor, Soto. I'm not going to spend on the Mets spot. Yeah, and then the Angels, I agree with what you were talking about, Senga. I mean, I don't know if I'll play them just because the pitch count. Good matchup, though. The Angels, we say the same thing every time. They strike out. They have power. I don't know. Like, it is what it is for me. I'm not huge on this spot.
DC, I wrote in the playbook that I was actually looking forward to being able to play Senga and his split finger fastball against the free swinging Angels. A little bit less so now with that pitch count. Tyler Anderson, the Mets against lefties since July 1st, 24% strikeout rate, 111 ISO. They score very little against these guys, and he's 6K on a slate where a lot of the expensive pitchers don't project all that well. No one ever plays Tyler Anderson, but every now and then he'll throw out a 23, 24-point game. Could it be in this spot? What do you think about the Angels and the Mets?
I'm not on the Tyler Anderson train, but it kind of sounds like you are, JT. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I don't want to go too crazy here. He'll be in my pool because of the price point and the Mets. I mean, you know, I agree. Vientos is cheap. Vientos should probably be cheaper based on his production. Alvarez first came back from the minor leagues. He only seems to hit when he's in the minor leagues. So, you know, go ahead.
I do see it from the point of I'm not on the Mets really at all in this game. I'm with you guys. I think Anderson pitches well enough to keep the Mets from being on the winner. Arguably the toughest offensive environment on the slate in Citi Field tonight as well. So just not a spot I don't think to be paying up for these Mets bats, and I don't really like the cheap guys very much as hitters anyway. So I'm kind of off both Anderson and the Mets entirely on that side of the matchup. Senga, I think, is somewhat interesting. The strikeout upside can be there for him. You talked about the matchup against kind of a team in the Angels who, they're swinging for the fences, right? But with that forkball splitter, like you mentioned, could get a ton of swing and misses. I will say, 67 pitches in his last outing. He does have 10 days off. That was back on July 11th. So you can, if you would give him a start during those 10 days, which would have happened if not for the All-Star break, maybe he would have been at, 75, 80, and then today would be 90. So I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me if Senga threw 90 pitches here. And yeah, I wasn't really considering him for those reasons, but just thinking about it a little more closely, I do think there's possibly that Senga, goes six plus innings and could be a pretty good play if so. So maybe rethinking that one a little bit.
Yeah, I think Senga is a better play than the field things just based on projected ownership. Again, not on another slate, I wouldn't even consider him, right? If we had a Crochet or a Skeens or a Schoolball, we don't have those guys. The guys we have in terms of the higher price guys, really kind of speculative at their prices in terms of guaranteed production. So, all right, let's move on. DC, we'll stay with you. This next game is here in Atlanta. Hayden Birdsong, 6,600 for the Giants against Bryce Elder, 6,300. Elder, I think it was nearly a complete game shutout the last time he faced the Giants about a month and a half ago in San Francisco. Put up 38 fantasy points. DC, I just can't see him doing that again. The Giants seem to be hitting the ball, or at least starting to hit the ball a little bit better over the weekend in Toronto. They did lose. They've lost 5 in a row, but this seems like a spot where maybe the Giants can get right against Bryce Elder. What do you think about this matchup between the Giants and the Braves?
Yeah, so Elder, I was like out on him even last year when he somehow had that brilliant first half and made the all-star team. And all the numbers for him were like, there's just no way he's even close to this good. And then he wasn't. He's a gas can. He's really not good at anything. So I never play Elder. I'm not going to play him tonight. Giants, I think, are interesting. Again, if I think so lowly of Bryce Elder, then that's got to make the Giants at least an interesting play. I haven't played them much, but yeah, a talented lineup. They just weren't doing a lot after the Devers trade, but they probably will get it going at some point, and this is a good spot for the Giants. So maybe need to consider them more than I have so far. And then Birdsong, I've been kind of on the record of thinking he's pretty overrated too. He seems to have a pretty generally high opinion in the DFS community in my eyes. And I think he could be prone for a blow up here, JT. Look at the walks for him. 5, 4, and 4 in the last 3 games. If you're putting guys all over the bases, that's when things can really go south. So Braves never seem to come through other than Acuna, but I do like them quite a bit against what I view as a pretty overrated pitcher in Hayden Birdsong. So Braves is mostly what I'm looking at here, but kind of reconsidering and maybe some Giants as well for me.
The issue with the Braves, I mean, look, let's face it, right? The bottom of this lineup, Nacho Alvarez, Michael Harris, Nick Allen.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, but even still, DC, Marcus Stroman shut this team down yesterday. Yeah. I mean, Marcus Stroman had 19 fantasy points.
I watched the whole game, and it was miserable. So
against the Braves, and now Hayden Birdsong comes in at 6,600.
Yeah.
Big T, I put Birdsong as a cheap option on the playbook just because I'm convinced any pitcher with a slider could get 20 fantasy points against this Braves team. I see what you're doing here, and I'm looking, and I want to ask a question because you've got some of these guys that are kind of the names aren't bright white. What does that mean in the pool for people who are new to Saber? Where and the interesting part is Nacho Alvarez, Nick Allen, two guys I am going to remove from my pool. As a matter of fact, Nacho Alvarez got a hit against I think it was Will Warren Saturday night, and there was a Yankee fan next to me, and I said, "You're giving up hits to Nacho Alvarez. You should be DFA'd on the spot." He's not in my pool. What does that mean though for the people watching?
Yeah, so first of all, I haven't played around with SaberSim a ton today, so it doesn't mean as much as it normally would. I just wanted to get ready for the show. But in general, it's going to show you the worst plays of the slate because you run it for 150. If he doesn't hit on any of my 150, it probably means they're not great plays. Granted, I do have a lot of default numbers in here. I changed a lot of stuff as we go and stuff. But in general, you can see the worst plays, which I also agree. These two are guys I do not really want a ton of. And I like running it just naked like this to start out with, just so you can see stuff like this where some guys don't pop, they pop. Maybe some guys pop a ton that you wouldn't realize. And then as you tinker, you can obviously pull stuff back, put people in, different things. But I always like to run it like this before the show just to kind of see where everything's at. And I agree with I wish I didn't. I agree with everything you guys were saying where Birdsong, I don't think he's great, but man, his price is nice. The pitching's not good on this slate, at least in my opinion. Like you guys said, some of the good pitchers that we'll get to, I think are maybe safe, but not a ton of upside. Some of the cheaper guys might have a little upside, but a lot of risk. I don't know. There's nothing that sticks out. So slates like this, guys like Birdsong can grind their way up to 15, 16, 20 points and be huge. So I don't hate it, even though I don't love the matchup.
Right.
What was that?
I just said right.
Yeah. And I think both offenses are in play, though, if you're playing teams. I mean, both of these teams have pretty good matchups as far as we don't like either pitcher. The weather looks pretty good there. We got Saber projecting 10 runs. I don't know. I definitely – they're not going to be my premier spots of the night, but I do think you can get in there. I mean, the Giant – both these lineups just at the bottom just kill me. I mean, this is rough down here. You go to the Braves, and the Braves, like we were talking – I mean, Harris has just been so bad. The top is decent, but Profar is a guy that – man, I hate Profar. I just don't like many of these guys. So maybe it's more mini stacks for me with these teams because I do think they score runs. Like I think if what's the total? Probably 9.5 in this game. The actual total 9.5.
I mean the Braves. Look, so the Braves had like a 6 total yesterday. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter for this team. I mean, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I mean I agree with you. The Braves have been rough. They scored this weekend. They scored 2, 9, and 7. I mean, they've been scoring decent, but they just don't ever like explode. And one of the reasons they don't explode, in my opinion, is they have too many just dead spots. Like we talk about it every week, and I hate being redundant, but you get a couple guys on base, and you get down to Nacho Alvarez, like your run's going to come to an end, and they're going to flip the lineup over and stuff. So I'm not super into this spot.
Jake Swales. Jake, Braves been heating up. Again, Marcus Stroman, 19 fantasy points yesterday. Very, very upsetting. Very upsetting. All right. Thoughts on the Giants? Big T. I kind of like them a little bit here against Elder. I agree with the point about there's some of these guys, like it's hard to play Wilmer ever, no matter who's pitching, no matter what hand they throw with. But Chapman hit a home run yesterday. Adames, Ramos is, Devers is the guy who I just think got paid and doesn't care about baseball. And he'll be out of the game in 2 years. But everyone else, I think, here is interesting.
I think they're a perfect full stack team too. The more I look at it, because it would be hard for me to hand pick it, but maybe you somehow come on to a Casey Smith or Bailey is 2,200. I don't think he's any good, but you get a little wraparound going because I do besides Devers, a 1, 2, 4, 5, 9 type thing. I'm with you. I don't have a whole lot of argument with you here. I like this. I like that.
DC, you're chuckling a little bit. What you got?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something fun. Oh, when you interjected with right, and Big T was like, "What'd you say?" It was a good thing that it wasn't an insult, right? Or else,
I thought he was making fun of me about something.
No. I'm much more transparent when I'm making fun of you. I'm not going to hide it amongst amongst just one little comment. No, absolutely not. All right.
I do like this nickname, though, from Riles. Drake the Snake. I like that. I might have to play him and call him Drake the Snake. I like that.
It's a good play today.
Oh, my God. All right. Let's see. What do we got here? Any good comments? Scary creations. Possible to get 10 to 12 fantasy points with Gomber at 4,500. Men have walked on the moon, so there are things that are possible. He's not in my pool tonight.
I do love, though. I'll say I love how they always price these dudes that low.
Yeah.
They'll do at least get us talking about it.
The Rockies pitching pricing this year is new, though. They wouldn't really go below 5,200. Senzatella was always 5,100. But now this 4K is just something.
It's hilarious, though.
Otherworldly.
The Cardinals have sucked against lefties too, and he's 4,500, and we still can't play him.
Okay, all right. I didn't know where you were going. I got nervous.
No, I'm just saying, he's 45 freaking 100. That's crazy.
Danny talking about Rich Hill, who is back in the major leagues with the Royals.
Grandpa Rich Hill?
Yeah.
That's who's he pitch for?
It's going to be fun. The Royals, the Kansas City Royals.
A starting pitcher?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's their plan.
How old is he? Seriously, 50?
Just slightly older than Goldschmidt, I think. So he's
got to be way older.
He's up there.
He's 45 years old.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually 45.
All right, the boys believe the moon landing was fake. Let's move on to the next game. It is in Tampa Bay.
I'm with the boys. It was definitely fake.
Was it as fake as the slap? Was it as fake as the Chris Rock slap, DC?
Yeah.
You think that was fake still?
Yeah.
We talked about that on the show, didn't we?
We
That
did.
was one of our shows. We still don't. There's no way that was fake.
It was definitely fake. All right. Drop in your favorite conspiracy theory while we're at it. We got Myers talking about Epstein, but let's go to Tampa Bay. By the way, slight chance of a passing shower here in Atlanta. It looks dark now, but it's gonna pass and be fine. Tampa, slight chance, probably not going to happen. Big T, we'll stick with you, even though I want to start with DC on this one because I know he's a Shane Baz guy, and I want to get his opinion on him. But we will. We'll start with you, though. Sean Burke, 6,200 for the White Sox, coming off their whole season this weekend in Pittsburgh. 27 runs against the Pirates. They sweep the Pirates. Now they come back to play major league teams. Shane Baz is 9K, Big T, and he's going to end up probably the most owned pitcher on the slate. I can't argue with the spot, even though as much as we say the White Sox are terrible, yes, they lose a lot of baseball games. They're about league average in terms of strikeouts. They really don't have a lot of power. But 9K for Baz on this staff, in this park, where he's been much worse at home, giving up a lot more runs at home, putting a lot more runners on base at home. The upside is there for Shane Baz. The downside is also there. He's got a pretty low floor on occasion. Big T, what are your thoughts here, Shane Baz and the Chicago White Sox?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the chalk of the slate. On a slate like this where he's got a 7K prop, a minus 220 favorite. And when people don't know where to go, they just go to that stuff. And I don't. It's only got him 23%. Both my ownerships. I don't.
I think that's
be higher.
light. Yeah, I think that's light.
Got to be higher. Yeah, I agree. And I don't think he's like a clear fade just because the way the slate sets up and he's going against the White Sox. But I'm definitely okay pivoting off of him and not like just full jamming him. I'm also not going to fade him too. It's one of those spots where if you guaranteed me he's 30%, I'm going to play him somewhere around that percentage and not let him beat me either direction because I don't have a stand. And to be honest, before I looked at this lineup from Tampa, I thought for sure it was going to be my favorite spot of the night. And I just look at this lineup though, man, it's hard. I like Brandon Lau in these spots. He's not in there. The bottom of the lineup is guys I like better against lefties, like all these guys, which they're not even highlighted. I don't even know if they were in the pool when I ran it though. But I just even Kim I like better. What am I missing? Is this dude split? Is he reverse splits? This Burke dude or something? Why is all these lefty hitters in this lineup?
He is in fact reverse splits. Yeah, he gets hit
like
by
how
both
I
sides.
called that, didn't you? Just by looking at this lineup, I know my platoons.
There you go. Yeah.
Danny Jansen at the top of the hard hit leaderboard over the last 10 days against right-handed pitching.
Okay, I like that. I mean, I want to like this spot the best of the day. I really do.
Yeah.
I just don't like. I don't know. I'm struggling with the line. One guy though that I'm all in on, like Camporeale in that home run derby, like was so impressive. He comes out of the break, he's just got that swag that I just freaking love. This dude was just hitting rocket ships. Comes out the first game after the break, hits 2 bombs. Didn't hit one the next 2 days, but he was smoking the baseball. He's a guy that I'm going to key the next couple weeks, if not the rest of the season. I just absolutely love him right now. The problem is, I hope you guys can push me on to some other guys because I don't love the rest of this lineup. It might be a little bit of a mini stack spot for me. And the White Sox, so this is JT's bread and butter. Baez going to be the chalk. Can we get on this team against some chalk in a slate like this? I'm struggling with that too, which is another reason I can't eliminate Baz. But it feels like a good leverage spot to me with how Baz is. I'll hear what you guys have to say.
I think there's a slightly better leverage spot, DC. And the reason why is the White Sox have this weekend. They get to face the Pirates without Paul Skeens. So Skeens did not pitch over the weekend. 10 runs Friday, 10 runs Saturday, 7 runs yesterday. Now they come and face the Rays. That is it's a generational step up in talent between what you see over the weekend. You come here to Tampa. I can't say that they're not going to be in my pool, but definitely not. It's not a spot where I'm saying don't play Baz because the White Sox are going to give up runs. It's more so don't go crazy on Baz because of the lower floor when he's been chalk at these prices in these spots. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we think Baz maybe between 20 and 30% ownership. That's kind of where I want to be, right? I'll probably have him on one of my 5 DraftKings teams because the upside is high. There's no question it's there with Baz in this matchup. Yeah, to me, I don't think there's very many pitchers on the slate who even have a realistic possibility of 25. Never mind 30. I think Baz is one of the very few who do. So I will have some Shane Baz, but I'm not going crazy with it. Not at 9K in this park. I mean, he's struggled in Tampa. Just to give the easiest number, he's got a 5.47 ERA at home and a 2.91 on the road. This is a really tough place to pitch. Mm-hmm. And I do think you got to at least consider the White Sox against him. I mean, at least the top 3 or 4 are still decent big league hitters. This is one of the best, if not the best, home run parks of the entire slate. And Baz has struggled at home. These guys are cheap. They're going to be unowned. And you get leverage against the chalk pitcher of the slate. So I think the White Sox, I'm going to have, one White Sox stack just in case. Seems like something that could get to the top of a weird slate. It happens all the time in baseball. And then I really do like the Rays side too. I mean, we talked about Sean Burke, reverse splits. Yandy Diaz, Camporeale, I think are 2 of the best plays on the entire slate. Aranda kills righties and has just crushed it in this park. And then they've got Chandler Simpson at the top, who's just running wild right now. He would not be hitting leadoff if they didn't have plans for him to just run wild on Sean Burke and the White Sox. So that's the top four. Josh Lowe, I think, is a good play. And then even the bottom of the lineup. I mean, you mentioned that Danny Jansen is on fire, 3,500. Morel usually doesn't start against righties, so he's probably, free from pinch hit risk, I think, because he's starting against a right-handed pitcher here. So this Rays lineup looks really good to me. I can make a case for any of these individual hitters, all the way down to Taylor Walls, who I won't play, only one out for me. But anytime you like, 8 guys in a lineup, you got to like the stack. So I'm definitely in on the Rays here.
Yeah, Rays definitely interesting on this slate, and it's good. I mean, look, I'm not playing the White Sox in the 222. I'll tell you that much. They will not be. So if they're winning,
some of these White Sox are smoking hot right now too. Looking at the numbers while you guys were talking.
Yeah, again, and I agree with everything DC said. I looked it up myself today, saw that Shane Baz has much worse numbers at home, but against bad teams, he's pitched well at home. Against teams that strike out a lot, he's pitched well. So it's just hard for me to get there in the bigger contests. Maybe in the 150s, they'll sneak in there. I mean, just hard. I get it. All right. Any other thoughts, Big T, on the White Sox and Rays?
I like the White Sox side the more I looked at it. But again, like you said, I don't know if that means full stack or something. It could just be like Taubman in the 1. I mean, a couple of these guys are hot. It could be a perfect 2 or 3 man spot where you catch the bombs and stuff. But yeah, I agree with you guys for the most part.
Okay. Let's DC move down to Texas. The A's, after an interesting weekend, fun weekend of games in Cleveland, at least for those of us playing DFS. They move into Texas. Jacob Lopez, 6,800 against Jack Leiter, 6,800 DC. Nobody ever seems to play Jacob Lopez. And shockingly, he's been one of the more consistent pitchers in all of baseball on the season for the most part. 28% strikeout rate on the season, 27% strikeout rate since June 15th. Jack Leiter, strikeouts improving as he goes, getting a little better throughout the year. Athletics strike out a lot, but they also have a lot of power. So what are you doing with this one?
Yeah, Lopez, I think we've talked about him before. He was going to come back to earth. He started off just on a crazy, crazy run. The last 3 starts have been just kind of average in total for Lopez. But I mean, JT, if you think he is close to a 27% strikeout pitcher, which that's what he's been in his, in the season so far, over 66 innings. So it's not that small of a sample size. If you think he's close to that at 6,800 in this park against, look at this lineup for Texas. There's strikeouts all over the place here. I think you got to consider Jacob Lopez. So again, I don't think he's quite as good as the numbers have shown, but on this slate, yeah, I think he's a good play. And I like Jack Leiter too here. We have seen big games against this A's team, especially away from Sacramento. Leiter does seem like he's, improving somewhat slowly, and he still is, I think, a very, very volatile pitcher overall. Yes. But I do think he's got strikeout upside here. I do think he's got a shot at 20-plus fantasy points. He could, if you got 7 or 8 strikeouts, would that shock you against the A's? It wouldn't shock me at all, which means that he's got to be a pretty good play, I think, at that price tag of 6,800. So, yeah, mostly pitching here for me in Texas. I think both these guys are pretty good cheap options today.
DC, I played Jacob Lopez, I think, more than anybody. The issue is, for me, is I don't know how he's striking out 28% of batters. Yeah. I just don't know how he's doing it, but he's doing it. I mean, it's not – we've seen guys like this before. We haven't seen many of them sustain. Big T, this is why I love our guy VIP. He's been stroking the Rangers all day long, but kind of subtly, like, no, I don't like them. No, but this guy has been good in single A ball, and this guy hit a home run against the coach's kid in high school. And now he says, Jung back, key to the Rangers offense. Josh Jung, I don't think he's hit the ball since June. 3,300 in the 8-hole. I love our guy, Vip. All right, Big T, give us your thoughts on this game in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, this lineup, Casper, Texas, just, man, it looks bad. So I have to first of all, I always like the pitchers in this park in general.
Yeah.
More of a pitcher park for me. And you got a slate where it's tough. And you got two pitchers that honestly are a good price point, good matchups. I mean, the A's, even though they're kind of like the Angels, where I feel like they hit for a lot of power, but also aren't any good, strike out a bunch, all that stuff. So it checks all the boxes for me. You look at this lineup, I mean, man, it's bad. Even the guys that you consider good are having down seasons for the most part. Seager's been really good the last month or so, but for the most part, I mean, this lineup's just terrible. And the A's, big time park downshift every time they leave home now, especially when they go to like a place like this. So this game for me is clear-cut pitchers. As we get towards the end, I got to decide my rankings, but man, they're two of my favorites for sure tonight. So that means no hitters for me tonight, except for, I mean, I'll leave a guy like Hellman in there just because he's literally 2,400 in the one hole. Maybe I need a 2,400 spot on one team or something. I'll throw him in there, but I do not. I'm all pitchers in this game.
All right. In 150 sets, I will say there's enough power on the A's and enough volatility with Jack Leiter that I can't cross them off. So I'll definitely have some A's stacks. And then on the flip side, DC, for the reasons I said, I don't know how Jacob Lopez is doing what he's doing, and I'm going to play him, and I'm probably going to be over the field, but I'm not going to leave out the Texas stacks either, because we saw in Cleveland what happens when you get into the part of the Athletics bullpen that is not Mason Miller, and it's just not good. So in 150, I would not eliminate these guys. It's fine to eliminate a couple of players that you don't think are have power upside. All right, Big T, we'll stick with you. We move to Chicago. Going to be cool in Chicago, 75 degrees, wind blowing in lightly for the Royals and the Cubs. Noah Cameron, 8K for the Royals against the Cubs here. The Cubs are going with not quite a bullpen game. It's going to be Ryan Brazier to open the game, and then Ben Brown is going to pitch bulk relief. So on this slate, neither one of those pitchers make the cut for me. Cameron's been good. Didn't list him on the playbook just because it's the Cubs, but maybe you see something differently, Big T.
No, I mean, this game to me is the most clear-cut, just fade spot of the night for me. Like it all the way around. I don't see – trying to see if there's like a one-off that maybe I would like. I guess Carson Kelly sticks out to me a little bit at 3,800 catcher against a lefty. But, man, I this game to me looks like a 2-1 game, 3-2 game without much. But I also, like you said, one side's a bullpen. I'm not going to like Cameron against this Cubs team overall, although maybe I should like him more just because looking at this lineup, I don't love the way it looks. So, I don't know. Justin Turner, I mean, man, 2,100. What happened to my man, Justin? Did he just is he 45 like Rich Hill? I mean,
55.
this dude.
55.
Woo, if you're like,
he has the handicap parking spot in the parking lot outside.
You got to shut it down at some point, Justin. I mean, you had a good career. If you're ever 2,100 on a Monday night slate, you got to shut it down. I mean, you got to turn in your stripes, call it a career. You still had a good career. You got at least one title, if not more. You got to shut it down, buddy. You're hitting in the 8 hole at 2,100. I mean, come on.
He made some money.
Go enjoy it. Go freaking do whatever you need to do. Go do something besides hitting the 8 hole for 2,100.
There you go. Words of wisdom here on Game Log Monday, as they all get axed. DC
leaving Carson though. The platoons are still alive, baby.
Actually, I think Justin Turner hit a home run last week or something.
Oh, so I'm surprised. Do I have to add him back in for 2,100?
I'm surprised you weren't on top of that. DC, the Cubs are one of these teams where, again, Noah Cameron's been good, but they're one of these teams where when nobody's going to play them, they seem very interesting because of their capabilities. You do have that Royals bullpen behind it. I'm kind of intrigued here by the Cubs. What are your thoughts?
I think the Cubs make a lot of sense as a sneaky stack. Cameron, I mean, I'll kind of throw him in a little bit of the Jacob Lopez bucket. Both rookie lefties who I think aren't really quite as good as they've shown so far. I mean, Cameron has pitched overall very effectively. I'm just not sure it's going to keep up. And, this Cubs team's got some guys who crush lefties. Got Uncle T in there talking about Carson Kelly in the cleanup spot. He looks awesome. Suzuki kills lefties. He's 5,100. You go down to, guys like Matt Shaw at the bottom. Again, I'm with you guys. I'm not playing Justin Turner, but I think this Cubs team has some upside here. I assume they're going to be completely unowned. So I wouldn't go crazy with it, but yeah, I think they're an interesting play. And then I'm just completely off the other side of the matchup. Obviously can't play any Cubs pitching, and Royals are not for me tonight with some wind blowing in at Wrigley. I think there are better spots to go to.
All right, fair enough, DC. We will stick with you as we head over to Colorado. Coors Field. The Cardinals head in to play the Rockies. It'll be Michael McGreevy, 6,500 against the aforementioned Austin Gomber. Gomber is 4,500. And say what you will about the Cardinals and what they do against lefties. This is a different situation. This is Austin Gomber giving up 2 home runs per 9, more than that at home. Wilson Contreras also on the list of those hitting the ball very hard against left-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks here. Cardinals going to be the most popular team. Rockies going to have some ownership as well. What are you doing with this spot, the Cardinals and the Rockies?
Well, I definitely won't be going for the 10 to 12 points from $4,500 Austin Gomber. So we'll leave that to others. I mean, I don't love the full Cardinals stack. There's just a lot of hitters in here I don't really want to play, but I do think they've got a few guys who really stand out. Ivan Herrera, Contreras, and then Arenado, who is still pretty good against lefties, obviously returning to Colorado here. Warm, wind blowing out game in Coors Field. So yeah, the righties against Gomber, I think you got to play them to some extent at least, and I'll certainly have them mixed into my lineups. But I'm not going super crazy with the Cardinals. I think there are plenty of good spots. I don't think they're, as likely as their ownership suggests to end up maybe on the winner tonight. I did look at McGreevy just because I consider every pitcher that pitches against the Rockies because the strikeout upside is so high, but he gave up 15 runs over his last 2 starts in the minors, and that put a stop to my interest in McGreevy. I said, no, I'll pass on that, I guess, tonight. So no McGreevy, but I'm not playing a ton of Rockies either.
Big T, Cardinals, Rockies. What are your thoughts?
It's a tough spot. It's a spot that I love on these nights, though, where you got big tournaments, 222. Everyone's going to shove St. Louis. Even some of the chatter on Twitter is like, they're underpriced. How the hell are these guys underpriced? No, they're not. These guys have been terrible. They're not under freaking priced. I know it's at Coors versus Gomber, but look at these prices. There's no way what are they supposed to be? What's Arenado supposed to be? $6K? The guy hasn't got a hit in 3 months. What? How in the world is he going to be more? I don't understand it, but I like it because in the last couple of years, I just faded Coors a ton, and then slowly I've gotten chalkier, I think, in my way I build. I think this is a bad spot for the Cardinals. I kind of do agree with DC where I think you can pick a few like Herrera, definitely. Contreras, definitely. Mason Wynn towards the bottom, definitely. But a lot of these, Arenado, I refuse to play him. He has been horrifically bad. So freaking bad. And he's going to be, what was that look, JT?
Well,
has he been good?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. However, might I remind you, this is sort of the trigger for some of these guys where all of a sudden, it's a 2 home run night. I mean, he goes on a 2-week
Well, what's funny though,
you're doing Albert Pujols to him is what you're doing.
He always goes back to the one freaking Pujols on me, you bastard. Pujols did whoop my ass for the record. For 3 straight months, freaking steroids coming out of his gills, but he freaking owned me for sure. But to me, am I going to fade this on every single team? Maybe I build a couple St. Louis stacks, but I definitely don't like it, whatsoever. I want to fade it. I don't like the Rockies either. I look at this lineup. I guess I can make a case for some of these guys in the middle, but they're just so bad. So with it being a big tournament tonight, 250K to first, I think I might just like full fade this in the 222, try to find some other spots and just hope that it doesn't go off because it's going to get the ownership. I mean, St. Louis is going to be so popular. I'm more on the fade side than the play side, unless you guys talk me into something. Although Jake Swell's in the chat, Tovar Goodman, I really like that little two-man booth. I like that a lot.
Yeah, especially in the 222, these guys are going to be very, very popular. DC, what are your thoughts here on the game in Colorado?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Again, it's those one-offs really from the Cardinals or the two-man stack, Herrera, Contreras, I think are clearly the two best guys. That's who I'm going to have on my lineups. And then, yeah, I was kind of off the Rockies, but like I said, McGreevy's been bad in the minors. Tovar, way underpriced in the 2-hole. Goodman's been crushing it. Moniak hit a 450-foot bomb yesterday. He's got power in the leadoff spot. Even Beck and McMahon and Doyle, these guys are like, they've got massive holes in their swing and they strike out all the time, but they do all have a lot of power. So I think this Rockies team is growing on me a little bit as we talk about it.
All right, fair enough. We got to get through 3 more games. Let's do that quickly so that we can get to plays, building lineups, all those things. Next game of the slate, DC, this is an interesting spot to talk about, and I'll do so briefly. Brandon Woodruff, 9,600. George Kirby, 9,200. Woodruff going to be either equally popular as Shane Baz or perhaps more or just slightly less. And I think he's the worst play on the slate. His first 2 games after injury were against the Marlins and the Nationals. I think it was 77 and then 81 pitches. So you're paying full price for a pitcher who now is going to be clearly have some type of pitch limitation. Maybe it's 90 pitches, who knows? He's going into Seattle team with a ton of power. Sure, they strike out a lot, but the velocity is down. He's averaging about 93.5 miles per hour. Big upgrade in competition. I know the park is terrible. I actually like Seattle a little bit here in this spot. And if I'm picking between playing Senga or Woodruff, I'm going to play Senga. What are your thoughts here on the Mariners and the Brewers? George Kirby, 9,200, always much better at home.
Yeah, I kind of like Woodruff, but you got me a little concerned with some of the points you're bringing up. And I had my doubts about Woodruff coming back from such a long layoff, but the results so far have been so strong. I mean, you mentioned the matchups are good, but 18 strikeouts in just over 10 innings for Woodruff so far. He gets to pitch in one of the better pitching environments. I love taking pitchers in general, obviously in Seattle, and a lot of strikeouts in that Seattle lineup. So I do still like Woodruff. But yeah, I get the concerns with him. And again, it's just one of those slates where I'm not super comfortable at pitcher. I will certainly have some Woodruff. I do like him more than both Senga and Shane Baz personally. But the more we talk about this slate, I think spending down at starting pitching is starting to look better and better, just with all the question marks, I think, with some of the higher priced pitchers. So yeah, I'm on this Woodruff. I'm not going to have Seattle, but I get it as a leverage stack. And then Kirby versus the Brewers, I'm just kind of out on both sides of that matchup. So not going to play either Brewers or George Kirby myself.
All right, so we're a little different there. I kind of like the Kirby matchup. I think that Kirby at home, I think he can do well enough against the Brewers. Brewers have been a little bit vulnerable to good pitching. Big T, what are your thoughts here on the Mariners and the Brewers?
Yeah, I have pretty strong take on this game. I mean, you got a slate with all 9, 9.5, 8.5 totals. This total's 6 in a bad park. 2 good pitchers. I am all aboard the pitching train in this game. I do agree in a way, though, that Milwaukee is totally on fire right now. I don't love their roster, but they're definitely sun running right now. But on a slate like this, you have 2 of the better, just take matchups out of it, 2 of the better overall pitchers on the slate, in the best pitching park on the slate, in a 6-run total. I just have to play these pitchers. I do get what JT's saying. Like, it's not a make fun spot for me. I wish I could make fun of it, but I don't totally disagree at all. I just think on this slate, I have to like both of these pitchers, and I'm definitely going to be on it. Can I play some of these Mariners guys, like especially these 4 I got on the screen? Yeah, absolutely I can. But the rest of the guys in Seattle's lineup, I hate. I'm definitely on the pitchers. I'll shorten the conversation from my end.
No, that's totally fair. And again, Woodruff is not a guy who people expected to be that good when he came back. I think it's been helped by matchups against the Marlins and the Nationals. And I think he's going to come back to earth here. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's the way I'm going to play the slate when you've got.
It's a good way to play it anyways, because with pitching, people are going to have the similar take to me where they just play the safe, like, stud guys. And when Seattle goes off, like, you're leveraging the whole slate big time.
All right. Well, let's move on. 2 games left. Houston, Arizona, Big T. Colton Gordon, 6,900. Zach Gallen, 7,500. Like Gallen here a little bit. The Astros put Isaac Paredes on the IL, and I like the Diamondbacks here against Colton Gordon. What are your thoughts here on the Astros and the D-backs?
Yeah, it might be the first time all year I like Gallen, but it feels like the perfect matchup for him. The price is right. He's 7,500. The matchup's right. I do think they had a few lefties they could put in there, but they're terrible lefties. It just feels like a great spot for Gallen. The problem is he's either been really, really good or really bad every start, which is fine in tournaments though, right? I mean, he's got 2 30 bombs in the last 5 games, and then I think 2 or 3 negatives on there too. But in this spot, I have to like it. And I love this Arizona team against a guy like Gordon. They just line up so nicely, especially Gurriel, Suarez, Grichuk. I mean, those type of guys in the middle. Marte, obviously, always. Corbin. I love Arizona. They're honestly vying for maybe my top spot of the whole night here. The more I look at it and the more I think about it. So definitely all aboard Arizona and also Gallen. Yes.
DC, thoughts on this game?
Exact same thoughts as you guys. I think Gallen, one of the better pitching plays on the slate. He feels pretty safe against this lineup that Astros have to put out. And then you put in, throw in the fact that he's had 2 huge games in the last 3. So that seems like a good combination to me at that price point. I like Gallen a lot, same as you guys. And then, Big T, you must not have clicked on the Eugenio Suarez game log. My God, this guy is absolutely raking. 32 fantasy points in 3 of the last 5 games. And he's one of the hitters, like, if you watch him hit, he's kind of like a guest hitter, right? Who goes through massive streaks against the lefty who he's always crushed. I think you only need 2 third basemen today, Camporeale and Suarez. Get one of those 2 in your
Now you're speaking my language. Those are the 2 horses.
Sure. Get some pay up for those guys. Get them in your one-off and take your 30 bomb from the 2 sluggers.
D-backs trying to convince ownership not to sell at this deadline. All right.
One more thing about Arizona real quick, just because he was somehow unchecked. But so at second base, you have Marte, 5,700. You got shitty Blaze Alexander, 3,300 cheaper, 8-hole. These are the pivots, though, I like in my stack sometime. It saves you a lot of money. No one's really going to want to do that, obviously, except Saber. He wasn't checked, so that's why he's this color. But I think it's a decent pivot to play in some of your Arizona stacks just to make it a little more off the chalk path.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do we really need to extend the show to get a Blaze Alexander recommendation?
Yeah, because he's going to hit a bomb for me. Don't be swooping in on me. I like him. Now he's going to hit it. I'll put him in my parlay with Camporeale and Suarez.
No, don't. Like, you could have said he's going to get a double and steal a base. Don't do the home run thing. That's not his game.
He's probably like 12 to hit a bomb.
DC, David Festa, 7K against the Dodgers. Dodgers going with Shohei Ohtani, 6,400. You can't play him as a pitcher. He's going to pitch for 3 innings, Robert said. Then you're going to get Dustin May and some other dudes. Just kind of a throw out the LA Dodgers pitching night for me. What are your thoughts here, the Dodgers and the Twins?
I think what you're trying to say, JT, is Festa is going to get fisted tonight. But
He could.
Yes, I can see that going down.
He could also. I will tell you, the way the Dodgers have been hitting, though. I mean, Festa at 7K. I considered.
Yeah, I don't even really like the Dodgers, but had to make the joke anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does this mean you can't play Ohtani as a hitter today? I believe. So
you can. He's only going to accrue hitting points.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know. Dodgers obviously could go off here. I'm not crazy about it. I do think the Twins are a little bit sneaky. Yeah. What they say, 3 innings for Ohtani, and then
3
Dustin
innings
May.
for Ohtani, and then Dustin May is going to come in.
I like targeting Dustin May, but they're probably not going to do much against Ohtani. So I'll back off that, take a little bit. And honestly, I'm just not playing much from this last game of the night. So there you go.
Okay. Fair enough. Big T, thoughts here on the Twins and the Dodgers?
Yeah, I can't play the Twins against Ohtani. Dodgers bullpen's pretty good too. May sucks, but you could catch a perfect storm too, where they just pound May a little bit, then get the bad bullpen guys. So I don't think it's like the worst thing ever, but I also don't love the lineup. Just looking at it, it doesn't really stay outside of Byron and Castro. I don't love the rest of that lineup. And then the Dodgers, I'm so big on like how teams are playing when I'm doing this. I'm not a trend bucker when it comes to DFS. I'm more of a ride, and they have been horrible lately. What, 2-10 the last 12, whatever it is. That might not be exactly right, but something like that. I'm not going to be on the Dodgers, and I don't love the lineup on top of it. Ohtani's pitching. I'm not paying $6,400 for him tonight. I'm off this game. I'm back to my roots. I don't need these West Coast games.
No
Besides Arizona, I do need that.
All right, fair enough. DC, who's the pitcher that's going to be most important to your success on this evening?
Zach Gallen. I'm going to take the safe option. Mr. Zach Gallen, I think, going to have a good game.
I was going to go with Gallen as well. I'm going to be a little bit spread out. I'm going to play some of these guys. And I'm going to say I'll probably have more Jacob Lopez than the field. Big T, who is your most important pitcher to your lineups?
Man, it's tough tonight. I really don't have a number one guy. I'm pretty torn between the two cheap guys, Leiter and Lopez, and the two guys up top, Kirby and Woodruff, for like the builds. But honestly, Gallen's probably I know DC already said Gallen, but he's the guy that, especially with Houston, like you said, Paredes is on the IL or whatever. Their lineup, they always release their damn lineup dead last, which is annoying too. But their lineup sucks. So I'm going to go with DC tonight, and I'm going to say Gallen as well.
Look at your projection for Brandon Woodruff. I mean, you're playing a 10K pitcher with a clear unknown pitch limit.
Pricing doesn't matter for me tonight, so I want to be clear about
it. It does matter. It does matter because the projection tells you he's right around Rodon's projection. Anyway, that's fine.
It's a 6-run total in that park, JT.
They score runs in that park.
It's a 6-run total. Bet the over then.
All right. Go.
JT didn't want to end the show without one good battle. He's trying to
on a 6-run total.
Big T, who's the most important offense to your success tonight?
I think I'm on the D-backs. I started the show liking Tampa the best, but I like the D-backs lineup better. And my stand of the night, though, isn't going to be who I'm on. It's going to be who I'm off. And I just don't see it with St. Louis tonight. I don't see it.
Okay. DC?
I'll pick up where your Big T dropped off the Rays. I'll scoop them up for my favorite stack of the night against Mr. Burke. Gonna be a good night for the Rays, I think.
All right. Rays, Diamondbacks, very nice. Very nice. I am going to go with I don't know. I mean, those two teams are going to be very important to me as well, as will the Jays. I'm
Get in there on the Mariners, big boy. Get in there.
I'm going to play some cards. Listen, I think there's going to be a Mariner in the winter. So there's going to be a Mariner in the winter.
A Mariner in the winter? That's totally different than a stack.
God. All right. That's it. Core players will be up. Playbook will be finished here in just a few minutes. Pitching and hitting is up. We are fading Brandon Woodruff tonight. At least I am. So that's a stand I'm taking. There you go. I'll make you happy with a stand I'm taking. I have been doing this a lot, fading these popular pitchers outright, but I just believe it tonight. So I'll be fading Brandon Woodruff. And I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. Playbook's almost done. Cores will be up. Guys will be in the chat answering questions for you. For Big T and DC, good luck in your contest tonight.